I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings is Maya Angelou's first memoir, written because of a dare. The story takes place during the Depression. Thief with Misgivings. The narration is told through the eyes of an abandoned and abused child. This rhythmic coming-of-age novel is raw and real and all about perspective. Racism, sexism, sexuality, and molestation are magnified through a microscope. Marguerite Johnson, Maya's birth name, experienced abandonment after her parents divorced. She and her brother Bailey moved to Stamps, Arkansas to live with her grandmother, who they referred to as Mama. She was a general merchandise store owner and was said to have more money than the poor white trash. Marguerite was a really bright child. She skipped a grade. She was insecure about her hair and her body. After returning to St. Louis to live with her birth mother, Maya was raped at the age of 8 by her mother's live-in boyfriend. She woke up in a white-walled world and was forced to testify at his trial. The rapist was sentenced to 1 day in jail. The effect of the rape and his subsequent death was heartbreaking. Guilt, shame, isolation, blame, believing that she was a nasty little girl whose voice had killed a man. Angelou became mute for years. Back in Stamps, Arkansas, Mrs. Flowers used Marguerite's love of poetry to coax her to speak again. The audience gets to experience church services where the sheep, black folk, are separated from the goats, white folk. Maya felt confusion over her faith. Was her God a white God? Angelou's adult aftersight is sprinkled throughout the story. At her 8th grade graduation, her thoughts are decades beyond her years. Then I wish that Gabriel Prosser and Nat Turner had killed all the white folks in their beds and that Abraham Lincoln had been assassinated before the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and that Harriet Tubman had been killed by that blow on her head and Christopher Columbus had drowned in the Santa Maria. It was awful to be Negro and have no control over my life. It was brutal to be young and already trained to sit quietly and listen to charges brought against my color. Maya continues. We should all be dead. I thought I should like to see us all dead, one on top of the other, a pyramid of flesh with the white folks on the bottom as the broad base, then the Indians with their silly tomahawks and teepees and wigwams and treaties, the Negroes with their mops and recipes and cotton sacks and spirituals sticking out of their mouths. The Dutch children should all stumble in their wooden shoes and break their necks. The French should choke to death on the Louisiana Purchase, while silkworms eat all the Chinese with their stupid pigtails. As a species, we were an abomination, all of us. Maya experiences a sense of double consciousness, a black woman in America. We encounter racist people where whites were so prejudiced that a Negro couldn't buy vanilla ice cream. They don't really hate us. They don't know us. How can they hate us? Marguerite has many adventures as she moves from state to state. For a month, she finds herself living in a junkyard. After endless persistence, Maya is the first African American woman to get a job as a streetcar conductor. She loved the uniforms. Angelou created this piece of art using poetic prose. Being aware of her displacement is the rust on the razor that threatens the throat. Her voice is strong and etching. I truly enjoyed this read and agree with Mrs. Flower's sentiments regarding art. I am thankful to be invited into the private life of Maya and share her joys and fears. I now know why the caged bird sings.